All right, today we're going to talk about something that affects all of us, how to build a workplace that's not just more efficient, but fundamentally safer for everyone. We're going to see how some really simple, everyday actions can have a huge impact on our well-being at work.
I mean, think about it for a second. What if something as simple as a tidy desk could actually prevent an accident? It sounds kind of basic, right? But that's the core idea we're digging into today. We're going to connect the dots between basic organization and the critical mission of keeping people safe.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to get the big picture on workplace safety. Then, we'll zoom right in on the gear that protects us personally. And finally, we'll zoom back out to look at a powerful system that's designed to stop hazards before they even start. All right, first things first, let's really get on the same page about what workplace safety even means, because honestly, it's a much bigger deal than you might think.
Here's the official definition from the International Labor Organization and the WHO. But let's not just skim it. Look at those words: physical, mental, and social well-being. That's the key right there. We're not just talking about hard hats and avoiding sprains. This is about your total health at work, a truly holistic approach.
So the goals seem pretty straightforward, right? Prevent harm, protect people. But check out that last one, adapting work to people and people to their jobs. Whoa, that's a game changer. It means the job should fit you, not the other way around. That's where you find a real harmony between a person and their work environment. Okay, so from the big picture philosophy, let's zoom into the most personal layer of safety. I'm talking about PPE, or personal protective equipment. You can think of this as your own personal armor on the job.
But here's something you really need to get. PPE is not Plan A. It's often treated like it is, but it's actually the last line of defense. It's what you turn to when you just can't engineer a hazard away or control it through a better process.
Think about a hard hat, for example. It's not just about plopping it on your head. You've got to inspect it for damage every single time. You have to adjust the suspension so it fits snugly. And you see that little space between the suspension and the shell? That's not a design flaw. That's literally your shock absorber. If it's not there, the hat's not doing its job.
And it's the exact same story with an N95 mask. The protection is all about the fit. You place it properly, you pinch that metal strip to the bridge of your nose, but the most critical step, that seal check. You breathe out hard. If you feel air leaking out the sides, guess what? It's not protecting you properly.
Okay, so if PPE is our reactive, last-ditch effort, what's the proactive approach? How do we stop problems before they even start? Well, that brings us to this really brilliant methodology called 5S. It's a system for building safety and efficiency right into the workspace itself. And this image here really lays it all out. See how it's like building blocks? You start with a solid foundation. Sort, set in order, and shine. Once you've got that base, then you can build on it with standardize and sustain, which is what creates a long-lasting safety culture.
And really, the whole philosophy boils down to this one simple but super powerful idea. It's about creating an environment so well organized that hazards literally have no place to hide, and working efficiently just becomes second nature.
All right, that sounds great in theory, right? But what do these 5 steps actually look like in practice? Let's dive in and break them down one by one.
The first step is seri, or sort. This is the great decluttering. You go through every single item in your workspace, every tool, every paper, every file, and you ask one simple question. Is this absolutely essential for the work I do right here? If the answer is no, it goes.
Next up is seitan, which means to set in order.
This is where that idea of a place for everything really comes to life. And we've all seen this classic example, right? That spaghetti monster of computer cables under a desk. It's not just ugly, it's a serious trip hazard waiting to happen. By just using some simple cable ties and organizers, you immediately eliminate that risk. The floor is clear, and everything is easy to access.
The third S is say so, or sign.
And this is where shine becomes about way more than just looking tidy. It's really about cleaning as a form of inspection. Think about it. On a dirty floor, a small fluid leak might go completely unnoticed for days, until someone slips. But on a clean, shiny floor, that same leak is immediately obvious, so you can deal with it before it ever becomes a real hazard.
The fourth S is seiketsu, which translates to standardize.
This is how you make all that good work stick. You're not just doing a one-time spring cleaning. You're creating the new normal. You do that by making checklists, visual guides, and clear assignments so that sorting, setting, and shining happen the same way every single time. It becomes automatic.
And that brings us to the fifth and, let's be honest, the toughest S, shitsuke, which means to sustain.
This is all about turning these actions into reflexes, into ingrained habits. It's the step that shifts our whole mindset from simply reacting to danger to actively preventing it from ever happening in the first place.
And this slide just nails the difference. On one side, you've got the old way, reactive safety. It's focused on PPE. It responds after something bad has already happened. Safety is just a box to check. But on the other side, you have proactive safety. This is the 5S way. You're designing hazards out of the system from the get-go. Safety isn't a checklist anymore. It becomes part of the culture.
So I want to leave you with a challenge. Right now, wherever you are, just look around your own workspace, your desk, your workshop, whatever it is. What's one single thing you could sort today? One unnecessary item you could remove to make your space just a little bit safer, a little more efficient. Because that one small action, that's where building a safer workplace truly begins.